Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you again. I refuse to go over time. I want to do my best. So we're going to get into this right away. Reverend Renee, get well soon. Okay. Everybody knows about DC and Marvel, the comics. And so I'm sorry I changed my sermon 5 times because I was feeling this wasn't it. And so this is it. And it is called Superheroes Amongst Us. So I'm going to tell you some stories. And about this universe. A lot of you don't understand that there are superheroes here. And we're going to talk about those and some of the traits that these people have. The first is called the storm bearers. They are people of conviction. So picture this. The winds rose. The sky seemed to darken almost immediately. And people were holding their breath. They knew these storms. They've felt these storms, always anticipating the worst. And the storms were coming again without permission. The storms always came without permission. They simply came with no warning, no pre-thought that we have to prepare. They were demanding surrender. They were unyielding. And many of the people would run, most would hide, many would fall due to the blistering winds, but not the storm bearers. They stood at the center of the chaos, unshaken, not because they can control the storm, but because they trust something was greater than fear. They were not always powerful. Once they were lost, forgotten, wandering through the ruins of a life that offered no direction, no certainty, no way forward. And all they had was conviction, the quiet whisper inside them telling them to keep walking, even when the path was hidden. And when doubt clawed at their mind, it told them, never stop believing. Then came that moment, the storm arrived, fierce and merciless. It was threatening, it consumed, it was everything. But they faced it. Instead of cowering, they lifted their hands to the sky. And it was in that moment something shifted. The winds no longer screamed, they answered. The lightning did not strike, it obeyed. And the storm did not break them, it revered them. Another group, the Titans. They're those of the resilience. From the beginning, the Titans were tested. The world pushed, demanded, threatened. It was relentless. It did not care for weakness. And so many gave up, many faltered, many whispered, we are not enough. But the Titans, they stood anyway. They did not ask for ease. They did not seek shortcuts. They understood that true strength is not found in the absence of struggle. It is forged within it. Every hardship built them, every failure taught them, every fall only proved that they could rise again. And until finally they were no longer saw them as breakable, they had become unshaken. Not just in mind, but in soul and bone. Like, imagine understanding that what you started as, you don't no longer live in. The world mistook strength for force, but the ability to overpower, to crush, to dominate. But the Titans, they understood the truth. Strength was not about might, it was about resilience. It was the power to rise when the world knocked them down, and in their endurance to stand when others fell. It was the discipline to hold. There's another group called the Oracle. There's not many of oracles. You need insight, you need foresight. The Oracle was like everyone else, reacting. Always, what's next, what I got to do? Deciding, always moving forward without seeing the full picture. Always going by the biases, the likes, the dislikes. The facts, the logic, experience would guide them. But then came their moment, and a choice stood before them, one that seemed simple, obvious. It told them in a whisper, and only a few heard, look deeper. They paused, they listened, they saw. They became the oracle. From that day forward, they began to not act without foresight. They did not speak without understanding. They did not move without purpose. They understood the deeper truths, to walk with clarity when others stumble in uncertainty. Now, we're going through these superheroes, as you realize, superheroes don't just usually become, they don't usually know they just have their power. Even Superman had to figure out who he was. And you usually come through your weakness in order to find your superpower. You usually stumble into it, and then you're like, wow. So I really want you to see it's in you. There is a superhero waiting to come out. It's not about age. It's not about what you look like. It's not about what you didn't do. I promise you, there are superheroes amongst us, and you're one of them. The heart keepers. They're kind of the holders of devotion. They were different, though. Not because they were the strongest, because they were the fastest, and they weren't the biggest ones who were feared. But they carried something really deep, really unshakable. Where others built walls, they built bridges. Where others sought victory, they sought wholeness. They were the ones who stayed when it was hard, when the world turned cold, when walking away seemed easier. They understood something most never did. The greatest force is not in battle, or in the conquest. It is found in the connection. The heart keepers don't yield to weapons. They don't command armies. They don't seek to control. Yet they're the strongest of all of these. Because when division threatened to unravel everything, when doubt crept in, when isolation became the easier path, they stand firm, not for themselves, but for something greater. They usually reach out. When others are closed, they open their hands. When others abandon, they remain, even when it costs them, even when it costs them, even when it hurts, even when the world told them it wasn't worth it, let it go. And because of them, nations have not fallen. Families do not break, and hearts do not turn to stone. They carried a force that bound everything together, not because it was easy, but because it was right. Which one are you? The other group is the Thunderborn. They oversee dominion. The Thunderborn did not begin as rulers. They were ordinary, unremarkable people, moving through life without command, without any influence. Then they had their moment. Something was untamed. It surged through their veins, demanding to be wielded, and they feared it. Oh, they feared it. The Thunderborn feared, because they didn't know if it was going to consume them. Would it turn them into something they did not wish to be? But power is not meant to be feared. It is meant to be mastered. And so they did not run from it. They honed it. They disciplined it. They learned to wield it with wisdom, not impulse. They finally began to understand the truth that power is not about taking, it is about creating. True power does not destroy, it builds. There's this other group, the dream weavers. They saw what others could not. Where the world saw limits, they saw the possibilities. When others saw obstacles, they saw the pathways. The dream weavers understood that reality was not fixed, it was shaped, it was molded, it was created. They were told to stay within the lines, color within the lines, to follow the rules, to accept what was given. But sometimes something inside them refused. They began to dream of something greater. A world beyond the ordinary, a future beyond expectation. Many said, it's impossible. You're wasting your time. But vision is not about what is, it's about what could be. And so they imagined, they built, they brought the unseen into existence. And finally, the world no longer doubted them because the dream weavers reshaped reality itself. The Pantherians, the next group, revelation. They did not simply see, they perceived. When others mistook shadows for truth, they uncovered the reality hidden beneath. The Pantherians understood that truth is not given, it is earned. The world demanded certainty. It told them to accept what was placed before them, to move without question, to believe without proof. But something inside them said, refuse that which you do not know. Do not seek empty assurances. So they sought revelation. And at first they were dismissed. You ask too much, you see too far, you don't need to know. But revelation does not come to those who simply obey. It comes to those who seek. So they continue to search. You might be wondering, as I go on, and I could go on because there's a few more, but we're going to begin to bridge this all together. It's amazing when you hear the stories and when you think that there is a superhero, you get into their story and you look at them from the outside. But you need what I just gave you, the storm bearers, the conviction is Fillmore's faith. The Titans that I said it was resilience is the second power of strength. The oracle is foresight, is wisdom. Do you understand this? Do you really begin to understand that you have it within you? And we forget that it is so simple to step up into our greatness. We forget that it is so simple to simply just be and be okay with being you. I need you to say that. It's okay to be me. It's okay to be me. No, say that with some conviction, because there's some doubt going on. See, even in that is us hiding, not realizing that it's okay to be you. It's okay to know that you have a superpower that someone needs saving from. There's someone, how many times has a friend called you to be like, I need your advice? That means they see you as their superpower. How many times has a little one possibly came up to you and smiled? What if someone was walking through the street and you just said hello, and that was enough that they needed to say, I shall stay here another day? You must begin to understand that it is not something outside of yourself. God does not make mistakes, but we question if we are that. Do you understand that God has given you powers? Some call it the 12 tribes of Israel. Some call it the 12 constellations, 12 numbers on the clock, 12 disciples. They're the 12 disciplines. Are you disciplining yourself to understand that there is a power within you? And you have gone through all of these powers, all the 12. But there's one that you always need. And I want you to always go back to it. So when you look at the 12 powers, just don't be like, this means love. I want you to question, where am I not giving it? First, to me. Because you can't give what you ain't got. So when you're feeling, what's going on here? Why is this not happening? We are people who kind of self-evaluate, self-development, grow into, learn, keep growing, keep elevating. There is no such thing as, that's it, folks. This is not a Looney Tunes saga. That's not what life is about. Life is about learning, growing, being, and the journey never stops. I don't care how many books you buy. The question I want you to begin is, how many books have I read? But the biggest one I want you to remember, what's the chapter you finished writing yours at? Keep writing your book. The masterpiece is not finished. That's the beauty of this practice. It is that it's just what it is. It's not a complex thing. We make it so complex. Wake up, go to sleep. In between, have fun. And even when it's hurting, when it's driving, when it is so deep, remember that you keep coming out of it. Yes, life has your kryptonite, and you're going to stumble, and you're going to be like, oh, I can't handle this no more. I can't do this anymore. But remember that love is the biggest of it. Start with that first. Have patience for yourself. Have patience when you're like, I can't, and say, yes, you can. Remember, we talked about that last time. Nourish yourself. Nurture yourself. Be patient with yourself. Does it matter if you have to do it again? Who told you that you had to be perfect? You're supposed to be imperfectly perfect. That's the job. And that's the beauty of you. I'm always going on a diet every Monday. And I've stopped doing it. I said, ain't nothing wrong with the sweet potato and butter. Because you have to learn to accept what we feel are the gaps. But in reality, is there really a gap? You can always put a little bit of mud and spackle it across. You can always just say, okay, let me just put that over. And keep moving. But us, we usually like to sit down and be like, oh, someone saved me. When God said, I've already given it to you. You have a life raft every time. Ask yourself, look at your age. Are you really singing the song all by myself? Are you really? You've been here. You could have lost a lot. I've had losses, but I've had some wins. And when you really begin to turn that loss inside out and begin to see, no, it was never a loss. You know what I'm saying? Right? And when you begin to understand that life is not a game of winning and losing, it's about living, you will stop this competition with yourself. Why are you fighting you? There's enough fights to be done in the world. You're the only one who you could be the compassionate superhero to. So up, and not away, but within. Go within and realize the truth is all you need to be. So when that doubt comes, when that kryptonite of the I can'ts, when that kryptonite comes in of I don't think, stop thinking for once and know God got your back. It's that simple. God's got your back. It's when you step in front and be like, God, move out the way for a second. Let me handle this. That's the time when you're like, it's not working. Release and let go. And let spirit run your life. Thank you, Mama Ricky. Right? Begin to hold some of those songs you know. And stop singing. I know you love it. Amazing Grace, a wretched. You're not a wretch. Stop it. Stop it. Ain't nobody wretched. Well. I want to say thank you. What I would like to speak to for the workshop is exactly, we're going to go through the superheroes. I hope to see you later on today. I hope you remember, if you don't show up for the workshop, it's all good. Know that you're a superhero. Look at the 12 powers. It's a guide for you to walk. It's not complex. You don't have to do all this other stuff. But if you go on a trip, you can take me. If you want to go to a retreat in Costa Rica, I'll definitely go with you. We could learn it together while you're humming and figuring it out. I'm going to be on the beach. So, thank you for this invitation. And remember, you are. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let us center ourselves, ground ourselves, and just take a moment. Please close your eyes or just lower them. Taking a deep breath. Exhale when you're ready. There is one power, one truth that resides in you. Do you hear it? Are you willing to listen for it? There is one power, there is one truth. It does not negate, it does not say what you are not, it does not say what you cannot be, it does not say what the world says, or it doesn't have that barometer. It says you are marvelously made. Marvelously made. And for every little sneeze, that's saying, get out of me, doubt. Remember your purpose. Remember the first foundation is always the strongest love, one of the most complex of these. But if you just take a moment to get something that brings you joy and laughter, that's the beginning of the journey of love. For it does not hurt, it does not cause pain, it does not make you question, but it fills you until you are so full, nothing else could be consumed. Take a deep breath in. Let this be the community that you come to seek and have refuge in. Let it be where your fellowship is like breathing. Widen out, greet new ones you don't know, and know that you too have a purpose right here. Love immensely, love this community, and let it love others. And so it is. Take care, everybody.